Well, folks, there's been some real subject matter experts in this trapping content. And for whatever reason, they asked me to host a couple of these videos, and I'm nowhere near the expert of some of these other hosts we've had. But in this video, I'm going to talk about body grip traps, how they work, the parts and pieces, so that when you go to select a body grip trap, you know what you're looking at, you know what size, you know what application it has, and hopefully you're going to do it in a way that complies with the best management practices established by the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies. So here we go. Hello, and welcome to another video in our series on trapping. This video series is brought to you by the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies, and it is part of the Trapper Education course. Before we get started, we always want to remind you, there are best management practices that are a great idea, and we've provided you a link to where you can find those. And always check your state and local trapping regulations before you set any trap. In this video, we're going to talk about body grip traps. Body grip traps are used for the lethal capture. That is, they are designed so that the trap quickly kills the animal that gets caught in the trap. These traps are sometimes called conibear traps, and that's because a Canadian trapper named Frank Conibear invented this type of trap in the mid-1900s. Because body grip traps are designed to quickly kill the captured animal, trappers need to be very careful about where, how, and when these traps are set. And we're going to talk about that in more of these videos that are part of this series. So be sure to watch that video along with all the others in this trapping education series. So body grip traps are commonly used for lethal capture. And in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of the different styles of body grip traps and the pieces and parts that make a body grip trap. We're also going to teach you how to safely set and operate a body grip trap. Body grip traps come in a single spring design, typically the smaller trap sizes, and a double spring design. The basic difference between the two, as the name implies, is the number of springs that are there to activate or to fire the trap. This is a double body grip. 2 springs, all the mechanical energy is stored in these springs. Trigger wire, oh, let me get rid of that. Trigger wires, the dog, the safety catches so that when you compress all this energy, it's stored there. Another spring. The jaws or the frame of the trap, right here is the square part. The chain with swivel on each end and a trap tag and some wire, tie wire to fasten it. I'll show you how to set this thing. Some may wonder what this is. This is called the safety mechanism. You put it over the jaws of the trap so that if it were to spring and you weren't expecting it, it would compress this spring to a certain degree, but the jaws could only come apart this far. And you're not going to get your hand in there. And for me, I've dropped enough of these in the water. I put a little bobber on there, so that when it goes in the deep water, my bobber's up here. And also, I don't walk away from the set with this still on my trap, because when I look at it, I see that bobber floating out there. I'm like, oh, yeah, my bobber, my safety. So one of the things you'll want to use with a big body grip trap is a setter. They come in all kinds of different models, sizes, whatever, but they work on the same principle. You get the eyes of the springs in here, and since you now have all this leverage out here, you can compress them easier. And when you do that, this will latch, and then you can put the safety catches on. I'll show you how to do it. There we go. Now, all the mechanical energy is stored in that spring, and it's got this safety catch on it. Turn your trap the other way. Put your safety catch on. Once you got the safety catch on, now both springs have all of that mechanical energy stored in there, and the safety catches keep it from springing. And then you take your trap, here's your trap wires, here's your dog, and you go like this. And you always want to have your springs pointed down so that gravity helps keep the safety catches on there. And take the dog, and there you go. When you set your trap, you're either going to set it like this, or if you're going to have your dog and your trigger wires on the top, you're going to want to have it this way so that your safety catches don't somehow work their way down. Because if they're in this position, the safety catch could slowly work its way down, and when your trap fires, no animal. So, pretty simple. And then, just when you get ready to take these safety catches off, you always put a safety on the top here. I'll show you what I got. So, safety is just another spring device. Put it on over here. Slide it over. When you remove these safety catches on each side, your trap is ready to fire. You go set your trap wherever you want it. And when you're done, the last thing you do is take your safety off. Now you have a trap that is hot, ready to fire. So here is a mid-range double spring body grip trap. Not as big as the large beaver type ones, but there's still a lot of force in these springs. I mean, you can do them with your hands, but if it's cold and wet, I prefer to use a setter again. Just like I showed you on the big trap. Just compress that. And now you've put all that mechanical energy is stored in this spring, and this safety catch keeps it from going off. And you go over and do the other side. Undo your trap setter. And here you go. You got two springs that both have the safety catch on. And just like the big one, get everything lined up here. Oh. Make sure your springs are always in the down position, because that'll allow gravity to help you keep the safety catches on. And you usually want to adjust your dog to whatever you think is best for the situation and the species you're trapping. Sometimes you want it compressed really tight. Sometimes, depending on the setup, maybe you want it set to the farthest setting. Either way, turn this. Before you do that, put your safety on there, because these double springs, even the smaller double springs, you don't want those snapping on your finger. So, your safety catches are undone. Now, once that trap is sitting wherever you want it, the last thing you do is you remove your safety, and your trap is hot, loaded, ready. And along comes the species that you have for your target, and he hits that trigger. Boom. So for the smaller single spring version, you don't even need a trap setter. You can usually do it with your hands. Just compress this with your other hand. Oh, get your, there you go. Make sure you, when you do this, so like that. You can see, just like the bigger traps, this has multiple dogs or multiple settings on the dog. And there you go. Pretty easy with it. And you have the ability to set it this way, or this way, or this way, or that way. So single springs are really easy, really handy. You can use them in many places. One thing you'll notice is that these single spring traps don't have a safety catch like the big ones. The big ones have that safety catch right there. The smaller ones, you really would have to try hard to hurt yourself with one of these. I mean, I've got my fingers in them before, but there is no safety catch on these single spring versions. So if you want to, you can use a safety on these smaller ones also. The safety comes in handy on all sides of body grip traps. And just make sure you remember to take this off when you leave your set. Maybe even connect it to a bobber like I do. So that way I know I'm going to see it floating out there when I'm all done. Dead muskrat. Body grip traps can be used to capture many species, and they can be placed in many types of sets. They are often placed on land in cubbies, or they can be placed most often in water. We will show you how to make many sets with body grip traps in one of our next videos. Make sure to watch those. But for now, just remember the parts of a body grip trap. You got the dog, the trigger wires, the springs, the safeties or safety catches. You got right here the jaw or the frame. You got the chain with swivels, a tag, and a wire to secure it somewhere. That's all there is to body grip traps. Thanks for watching. Happy trapping.